What's up, everyone? My name is Forsaken, and today we're going to talk about that favorite topic of noobs everywhere, farming. If you are watching this video and are anything like me, you fucking suck at this game. Now, scavs aren't so bad. The problem comes when engaging with other PMCs, especially in the early stages of the game when you may only have access to level 1 traders. I recently reset my account after upgrading my game package and thought I would share my methods. Now, obviously, the most profitable strategy is to wipe squads that are just geared to their guilds. But this video, and most likely no video I ever make, will be about this. Our strategy will consist mainly of hiding. That's right, not stealth or some secret obscure strategy to dominate your friends, but hiding, like the shameful noobs we are. Now, the most important thing to remember is this strategy only works if you are playing as a scav. So pick your scav and load into the factory. The next thing you do is you find a quiet place out of the way to hide. There are any number of places that you can hide. These corners up top in the factory along the catwalks work fairly well if you want to have a view of the area, see if any PMCs come by that you want to get the drop on, but you leave yourself partially exposed. There are going to be trade-offs no matter where you choose to hide. Up here on this gantry crane, you have more cover, but the area that you can view is lessened. Our buddy's corpse in here makes a decent hiding spot in a pinch if you go prone and shuffle up between him and the wall. There are a few places that you can hide if you want to play it a little more aggressively and, single out a PMC if you get the chance. I personally have difficulty with enemy identification, especially at a distance like this. I've had moderate levels of success with this spot up here because a lot of times the PMCs like to exit from the offices along this shipping container here. If you're lucky, you can get a couple shots off and catch them on their way down. Now, if you want the ultimate risk-reward scenario and you just want to be a fucking savage about it, camp the extraction. Now, in the end, this is my favorite spot to hide. A lot of these things are determined based upon your spawn, because you want to move around as minimally as possible. Otherwise, you risk drawing attention to yourself. So let us return to the scav, while we wait out the chaos. Now, I'm sure you're a smart crowd and have already deduced what the point of this is. The goal is to use our scav to, scavenge. We allow the PMCs to do their thing and go on their way, and we come behind them treading through the corpses left in their wake. Personally, I like to wait until there are between 10 and 15 minutes left. I find that most players and player scavs have gone on their way by then. Occasionally you do come across a tryhard that wants to stay until the very last moment and get every single precious ruple that they can, but that is the exception to the rule. So queue up a podcast or a YouTube video. Forsaking Reality has a couple good ones, by the way, and just wait it out. But you have to pay attention because sometimes shit like this happens. It's unfortunate when this happens, but they allow you roughly 3 minutes, I believe, to get back into the raid before they boot you. The downfall, though, is your character will be standing when you come back in. So if you're hiding behind cover and you're unlucky enough that someone's fucking passing by when this shit happens, you're dead to rights. Now, it's pretty common knowledge, but I didn't state this earlier, that the O key will tell you the amount of time you have remaining in the raid. What I didn't know for the longest time was double tapping O will actually tell you your extraction location. I can't tell you how many times I fucking died from the clock running out because I had no clue where I had to leave from. It's been quite some time at this point since I've heard any gunfire or any movement, but I always take a few moments to look around just to make sure, because sometimes a PMC will clear the scav wave and it'll be a while before anything comes back, and I have stepped out too early and gotten my head blown off before. And now we start looting. Typically, you won't see any dog tags or anything laying around unless a PMC was killed by a scav in an odd location. Also, as you see there, I neglected to hotkey any of my meds, which is a amateur move. I will always start with the out-of-the-way locations first when I'm looting like this. The hallways, the tunnels, things like that. Areas where you're certain not to find anyone walking around at this stage in the game. In this situation, the most important item to find is a backpack. The larger the better, preferably the scav backpack. I mean, realistically, you're probably not going to find a tri-zip laying around at this point. Now, the reason it's so important to find the backpacks is because you got to play the backpack shell game. Typically, you'll get a good vest. You cram the vest full of as many items as you can, pistols, clips, attachments, etc. Put it inside of a tea bag. Then you stack all of the tea bags that you can find inside of one another until you find a normal backpack. Then you make a stack of those, and then you stack all of that inside of the scav backpack. It varies wildly what you find throughout. You know, you can find Kiver helmets and Fort armor if you're extremely lucky and they've been overlooked. Chances are that's not going to happen. It's very rare. Though typically outside of, you know, finding a gun that you like to use, perhaps one of those Sega shotguns, I prefer the SKSs myself. I've come out with backpacks full that I've sold for upwards of 120,000 ruples. I personally like to sell them to Skeever because it helps out leveling him up quickly. That's mostly what this is for, generating the revenue. Generating ruples so you can buy more gear or so you can level up your traders to the point that you can get the better guns. Because if you find any weapons laying around in here, chances are they're just throwaway guns. Things to sell or things to take on factory runs that you don't mind losing. You're not going to find anything fancy. And you can always check the crates if you want. Typically, by this stage in the raid, they've been looted already. I feel that there was a low body count this time. I don't think I'll get very much, probably nowhere near the 100k mark. But I did get this OPSKS, which is a nice find. And you can always try to, you know, kill a bunch of scavs and take their loot as well if you want, but it's not really worth the risk, I think, most times. Though I do find towards the very end, when the clock's almost counting down, you will get one, or if not several, that will come over and wait by the extraction. So if I can, I'll pop one and take his weapon or his bag or something just before I leave.